I can't solve a question, so I go to somebody and ask कि कैसे करना है. I think that's the biggest mistake.
When you read a question, you immediately read the option, you are doing a great harm to yourself.
बोलते हैं ना engineers को advantage है quants में. Why? Because engineers remember all the stuff that they need to remember from school.
VRC is not quants. I mean, let me tell you, I might not be happy with this, but
I love solving VRC.
What are the most common mistakes that people who are just starting their preparation they make, especially when it comes to VARC?
yeah, so VRC is not quants. I mean, let me tell you, I might not be happy with this, but
I love solving VRC in the class.
so yeah, it's not quants. So it's like quants mein, the more questions you solve, the
Yes.
better you are. Having said that, I'm not saying you don't solve questions in VRC, but in VRC, you have to improve your ability a little bit before you start solving. So some people tell me that I solved 20 RC passages and still I have not improved. I still make those 2 errors out of 4. Questions. So in that you'll have to see, okay, why am I making those errors? Is it because I did not understand the question? Is it because I did not understand the passage? Or is it because I was not comfortable with what was written in the passage? So there were so many blanks in my mind when I was reading the passage that when it got translated into questions, I could not find the answer because of those blank spots. There was this passage which was saying, inverted representations are balm for the forsaken. Now, if you did not understand this sentence in the comprehension, there was a straightforward question which was like, inverted representations are dash for the forsaken. And then there was, so if you knew it was good for the forsaken or it was bad, there could be only 2 answers. If you knew the correct answer was that it was bad. So if you had solved that logic in your mind while you were reading the passage, that this is bad for the forsaken, then all the good options automatically get eliminated. So you are like left with one option which is saying it is bad. It may be worded differently, that it's causing them some problems, etc. But you know that it needs to be a negative option. So this is something that students miss out on. The second thing is the power of a mental answer. When you read a question and you immediately read the option without allowing yourself to process the question in context of the passage, you are doing a great harm to yourself.
That's a very important point.
Why? Because as soon as you read the question and you read the option, you try to place those options in the passage and you try to find those options. Now, the passage was written 5 years ago, 10 years ago, you don't know when. The question has been created by somebody else and it is an inferential question. You will never find that option in the passage. But if you know that, okay, I am looking for a negative option, which means it is bad for the forsaken, that option you can find by elimination and by selection. So you've already understood what you want. You go to a shop, you want a white colored, formal, 42 size shirt. You know what you want, you go and you find it. Whereas if you go and you say, I want a shirt, the shopkeeper is going to say, I've got these 500 fine shirts, please take a look. You're going to waste your time, energy, and maybe come out buying stuff that you did not want. Similar, the options are like, those options, those so many shirts in a shop. But if you know what you want, if you have already mentally understood the passage and the question, you've created an answer, and then you look at the options.
Wow. So in VARC, the options can often be distractors.
Yeah, they are. They are meant to be that.
You fall in love with the options.
You fall in love with the options.
Yes. And then your mind says, oh, this option is so good. Yes, so they are traps. And we don't need to get into that.
Funny incident, we used to have a teacher in our Patna center who used to be asked in a class, 100 people in the class, somebody asking, sir, B क्यों नहीं है? ठीक है, आप ये बोल रहे हो. तो उनका आंसर होता है, इस आंसर में रोमांस नहीं है.
And then Arun told me, see, he's such a popular teacher. I was like, I can't say things like that. So, yeah, that was a funny thing.
Are you preparing for CAT 2027?
and wondering how to start your preparation, we at the Arun Sharma Academy are bringing to you a 1 rupee bootcamp on 11th of August, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., where me and my team will discuss threadbare the best strategies and the best processes to prepare for the CAT if you start now. Do join this workshop to get special discounts also in our upcoming batch, which is starting on 13th August for CAT 27. Details are in the link below.
So do the mistakes change? Like the beginner's mistake, are they different in Quant and DILR?
The big preparation mistake, the biggest preparation mistake in Quants and DILR is I can't solve a question.
Yeah.
So I go to somebody and ask कि कैसे करना है. I think that's the biggest mistake.
Why do you say so?
The reason is I've solved the CAT 24 times, as you know.
Yes.
And whenever I've gone, what do you think? Have I had no doubts in solving the CAT exam?
Of course
My
not.
mind is beset with doubts.
Yeah.
Every question when I'm doing the next step, I'm always thinking ये सही कर रहा हूँ कि गलत कर रहा हूँ, क्या कर रहा हूँ मैं?
Yeah.
DILR is even worse.
Yeah.
Because you have to crack through 10 steps before you get to the
Yes.
answer. And every step your mind is beset with doubts. Now if your preparation structure and strategy has been, whenever I have a doubt, I'll go to you and ask. In the exam, whom will I ask?
Yeah.
I have not built the doubt resolution mechanism.
Mm.
Your preparation is for the doubt resolution mechanism. Why I score my percentiles? Because I can resolve that doubt for myself.
Yeah.
And if I have not invested in that through the year, because my logic has always been that जो question नहीं बन रहा है वो पूछ लो किसी से.
Mm.
Yeah, they don't fight enough.
Yeah.
I mean, and don't listen to me. Listen to, I mean, what did Einstein tell people? When he was asked this question, how did you in one lifetime come out with so much? You know his answer? His answer was simple. His answer was, I could see more because I stayed with the problems longer.
Yeah.
In today's Instagram generation, people don't stay with problems.
Instant answers.
So that's
Yeah.
the number one destroyer of preparation. Because my mind is always going to look for that walking stick. Inside the exam, I'm not going to get that. My doubt layer is not going to be there. I don't have the internal mechanism to clear the doubt. And then I'm suddenly lost.
Wow.
So that's the number one mistake. Other structural mistakes, like, I mean, suppose a lot of people who are weak at maths. So they need to understand why they are weak at maths. So the reason why they are weak at maths is because, I mean, ये बोलते हैं ना engineers का advantage है quants में. Why? Because engineers remember all the stuff that they need to remember from school. तो स्कूल का एस्पेक्ट से जो 5th to 10th का जो कुछ एस्पेक्ट्स है जो आपको कैट प्रिपरेशन में लेके आना पड़ता है, राइट?
Yeah.
And if you come into CAT preparation without knowing those things, then you will be understanding what you have to understand from the CAT perspective, the logic, but you will not be able to execute it because you don't know how to solve a situation that has led you to 3 equations, 3 unknowns.
Yeah.
उसको solve कैसे करते हैं आपको पता नहीं है,
Yeah.
right? Or how do you tackle an analytical situation which there are 2 equations but 3 unknowns,
Yeah.
and it's giving you a multiple possibility structure. What is the way to come out of that?
Yeah.
तो वो सब स्कूल में सीखना होता है आपको.
Hmm.
So what is the solution to that? You go back to school. I mean, let's say my biology was very weak in school. Let's say.
Yeah.
So if I, as a graduate student, if I go back to text that an 8th standard student is supposed to study, how difficult am I going to find it?
Yeah.
It's going to be easy, ना?
Yeah.
मेरे को स्कूल में नहीं समझ में आता था, बहुत खराब था मेरा perception, लेकिन अब तो हो गया ठीक.
Yeah.
As a graduate student, 8th standard stuff is going to be easy.
Yeah.
So go back to school and prepare it.
Yeah.
जिंदगी भर क्यों रोते रहोगे कौन खराब है?
Yeah.
It's a matter of 15 days, 20 days,
Wow.
right? So these 2 structural mistakes, and the third mistake, I think that goes for all sections, the consistency.
Yeah. Of course.
That's important for anything in life.
Yeah.
So consistency, when I say consistency in CAT prep, I don't mean putting in the 20 hours every week only.
Yeah.
I mean that if you are putting in 10 hours for quants, let's say 8 to 12 hours for quants, the 8 to 12 of quants should always be there.
Yeah.
These are weekly.
You need to keep showing up.
And you need to show up for DILR also.
Yes.
And you need to show up for verbal also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the biggest mistake preparation-wise, structure-wise people make is because quants is dominating the work they need to do initially.
Yeah.
First 4 months, सिर्फ quants पढ़ेंगे.
And that is very scary.
Yeah, you can't do
I
that.
have students coming to me saying कि सर 4 महीने quants खत्म कर लेता हूँ, उसके बाद DILR कर लूँगा.
Never works like that.
No, in the 40 minutes of DILR in the exam, what will work for you is the preparation timeline of DILR.
Yeah.
So if for 40-week preparation, if you have worked for 40 weeks or prepared for 40 weeks, out of which 20 weeks you did not do DILR, in your mind you're saying I'm consistent because I'm studying every week.
Yeah.
But you're not turned up, you're not shown up for DILR.
Yeah.
Or you're not shown up for verbal or reading.
Yep.
So you have to show up on all the 3 sections.
Yeah.
And the other factor is, the other problem I find in students is they lose motivation and inspiration.
Yeah.
So that is one more aspect that they need to remind themselves. You have to remind yourself that you are the hero of the journey.
Yeah.
You have to behave like the hero of the movie.
Yeah.
Get inspired, get focused, be on a journey.
Yeah.
Look at it as an adventure. Adventure that if you actually make it,
Yep.
it's just a matter of 5-7 questions extra. I mean,
Yeah.
if you get a 90 percentile, you're solving 20-25 questions correctly, more or less. You just need to get a 35.
Yeah.
And 10 questions makes such a huge difference
Yeah.
in your
Absolutely.
life.
Absolutely.
I mean, I can see my batchmates who came from lower middle class families, and within one generation.
Yeah. Yeah.
In my
Absolutely.
batch group, nobody talks about a Nainital holiday any longer,
Yeah.
because 2 days off hai to Paris chale jate hain. That's the narrative. So why don't you want that life for yourself?
Yeah.
And it's available. It's available. It's going to be available in the future.
Yep.
So only for 10 questions.
Yep.
Why can't you do those 10 questions? Why can't you turn yourself around? Why can't you
Yep.
change the way you work
Yeah.
and put those 10 questions in?